this film, No Time to Die, is the conclusion of the Daniel Craig James Bond arc that started all the way back in 2006. 2006 to 2021 is 15 years, 5 films, and it all rounds off at the end of that. Right, so Marvel's Infinity Saga, 2008 to 2019. That was like 10 years. 18, 19, wasn't it? 2019? 11 years?
I think that can't be judged the same way because that's... not all those movies had like Tony Stark, for example.
But I think they're kind of in the same lane a bit because it's that one continuous story that reaches a conclusion. Then Marvel has that one continuous story that reaches a conclusion. Basically, the same thing happens at the end. The main person dies. My question is, what has a better ending?
What has a better ending?
Yeah. What made you more...
like, without any hesitation, the 3 phases of the MCU.
Okay.
100%.
Hit you harder, like emotionally.
I don't even have to debate. People talk about... Someone the other day was talking about, what do you think's the better ending, like Endgame or... I can't remember, there was some other movie they were talking about, but it had a thing. No one's going to do like the whole arc of the MCU like that again for at least 50. And the reason I have that opinion is 2006, James Bond is in no way on its knees or struggling to do what it's going to do next. It's kind of that way now, but it doesn't know. James Bond's coming and there's an excitement and it's against a different world it's in. 2008, that movie is going to make or break like Marvel. Yeah. They brought out the Incredible Hulk, which did all right, but they didn't care that much. 2008 comes out, Robert Downey Jr., a divided actor at the time with that, and all these things, and they brought out a story, had amazing visual effects, was funny, it was engaging, it was great. You can still go back and watch that and it's great. And they built on that. Yes, there was a few bits along the way that didn't really work out that way, all these other movies, but you brought in this Iron Man, you're like, no one's really ever heard of Iron Man unless you look at the comics. Then you bring on Captain America and you're like, fucking look at this movie's great. Great. All these original bits, and you bring out Avengers and you're like, whoa, like
they're
look how
together.
good this is. And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. You get invested in the characters. You're looking out at the end of credits for where is that character going to fit in here. Then characters meet each other. Cinemas in America lose their mind because characters, there's all this like crossover thing. There was none of this multiverse bit at that point, but you knew who the characters were, and then at the end there's, you know what the risk is, you know who the enemy is. There's all these battles, and then it comes to this massive conclusion. The cinemas tell you how big that was over, like, across the world, of
the biggest event like ever, basically.
Between 2010 to 2020, it was by far the biggest cinematic event. I don't think we're ever going to see anything like that again, where cinemas stopped showing other movies because they just, from the opening to close, they just showed Avengers Endgame and every single thing, and they were sold out for 3 minutes. That was just in like Glasgow, Disco Bride. There's not that many people in this country, yet people were going to go. I seen it once. I know people who went to see it 4 times. It's a long time to sit.
It's a long film.
Yeah, it's a long time to sit in there. It's the equivalent of like bringing out Lord of the Rings again, and people just going bananas for it. But there's nothing, I don't think there's anything that's close to that. I'm sorry, and I know we're a James Bond podcast, it was nowhere near.